Welcome back to the Drive and Asylum double feature, and we hope you've been able to process the horror that was DOG Hound of Hell, which depicts the disintegration of your average late 70s, early 80s-esque upwardly mobile family.
What's interesting, though, is the kids actually become more successful people. The mom even says, isn't that the American way? At one point, that the son is now a president of his class. He's more assertive. The daughter's doing better. Yes, numerous people have had to die, but that's everybody's.
I don't think she had a problem with that.
Everybody's fine with it except for Richard Crenna.
And why? Can we talk about why this was the one guy that the devil couldn't get to?
He was destined to go to Ecuador to meet the voice of Peter Pan Records, Victor Jory, and get his hand tattooed and fight the devil dog.
Now, I'm so glad that you mentioned that about Victor Jory being the voice of Disneyland Records, because that's the guy from Curse of the Black Widow.
Yeah.
At least I'm 99.9% sure it's the same guy, because the same kind of character also, this shamanistic Native American, the one that discovered Patty Duke and her sister as children, one of them had been bitten by spiders. It could happen. You never know. You can't prove it couldn't happen. right?
Also, the devil has decided to assault a suburban white family, and the only people that can help or see him are Latino people that are subjugated into positions of working in a house or living on a mountain.
Yeah, that's truth because the one guy didn't even know where his grandfather was. He was like, he's
Yeah,
up there somewhere. Like, you
yeah.
don't even know where he's living, this old man. But then when we meet him, we're like, oh, this guy doesn't need anyone to take care of him because he has some kind of magic power. He had a wife too. He wasn't up there alone.
His wife mixed up all those berries for that stick and poke tattoo, which
Yeah.
they did a good job of showing how in pain Krenna was. That would be a really painful tattoo where he got it. But yeah, my favorite part of the movie is when he's sleeping in bed and nobody's in bed with him, and he goes upstairs and his whole family is up there chanting, and they have that painting on the wall of the demon and all the candles, like pretty intense. Also, love that he's almost seduced by by his wife skinny dipping. Like the possession made his wife more lustful and more attuned to his needs, but also then she started cucking him with the one of his better friends.
Yeah, I didn't get that part. I was like, did she really? Because it
He
seemed like he
referred to
wouldn't
her.
have
He's
done
like, "You're
that.
not even upset about your lover dying," and she was like, "Whatever." Another great part is when he's like, "You kids aren't like that guy was a family friend." And he goes, "It's horrible that he died." He goes, "Yeah, it's going to be bad. There's not going to be any more English tests."
The evil of Ike Eisenman.
Yeah. Also, the mirror in the face, seeing the possessed version of her in the mirror, pretty good too.
I know. She was like in the mirror.
Yeah.
Or like Henrietta in the cellar in Evil Dead.
Oh, there's a lot of good little parts like that in this movie, and that scene at the end where he goes. I also there's some subtext in the fact that he can't fight the demon in his house, but has to fight him at work because he's a workaholic. Am I triggered by this? Yes. That he has to go to work to fight the demon because that's the only place he feels effective. And as he's going into the factory, the shadow of the dog appears on that tower, and that was really cool. The end
It's
thing
a
with the dog.
beautiful, beautiful shot. It's one of the things that elevates Curtis Harrington films, even though the material is often silly like this. Well, I don't want to sound too critical because I
Yeah,
love it because of that, but it's
yeah.
just sort of like way out there, and Curtis Harrington sells that in a fairy tale kind of way
I
almost.
also like what Dustin said. I completely agree. Where it's just like he has the kind of job where he can tell people, "Hey, I'm going to Ecuador. I don't know when I'll be back. It might be a day. It might be 2 days. I might take a cab ride for
Yeah,
2 days." And those streets did not look safe. They had like rocks in the middle of the street. How much did he pay for that cat? Well, he probably paid like $5 American, right? But
yeah,
you know what I mean?
that was the cheapest part of that whole endeavor.
Yeah,
Then at the end, what does he do? He takes the whole family on vacation. So
yeah,
and they had a trailer behind them, so they were going
and
to be gone a while.
yeah. They were going for. I really thought that Harrington was going to end it with a little dog, another one of the litter, sitting on sitting on the driveway waiting for them. You know what I mean? That give the idea that it was following them. You know, because there's at least 9 more. One's already caused the father to kill numerous people.
Yeah, I didn't get that part. I don't think that woman on TV was alluding to their dog.
Well, they remember
Was
how they
she?
said that there were 10 dogs in the litter.
Right, yeah.
So that's another dog that caused that.
Yeah.
So potentially there could be a sequel with these other dogs that are out there.
They could make a whole series of 9
Oh,
films.
I would love it.
Ike Eisenman and Kim Richards become devil dog hunters.
Yeah, and they get like the daggers and Megiddo on their hands. They can.
We were possessed too.
Our mom, our mom slept around on our dad and skinny dipped.
She got real hoary.
Yeah,
He liked it. Oh my! Oh, there was actual nudity in this
yeah.
movie. made for TV film.
Yeah, like he didn't have on any pants when he hit that pool. It's a
No.
flash, but I think they didn't. No one had VCRs then. They'd be like pausing to see Richard Crenna's butthole, as he flies through the air.
Well, you could
But
see underneath the water that they were nude, unless they had like those G strings on
yeah,
or something. They could have had one
Birkins,
of those G string size bikini things.
modesty patches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was not much there, and
no.
unless it was a flesh colored pair of pants.
Also, like she's way too hot for him. That's what I think. Do you know what I mean? Like she's like,
Yvette Mimieux.
yeah, super attractive for him. Also, like I mentioned it to Bill. Bill said, yeah, it could have been makeup and stuff, but Richard Crenna feels way. Like, Rambo First Blood is like 6 or 7 years after this, maybe less. The first Rambo movie. He seems ancient in that movie. He seems really old in that movie. He is not old in this. And man, Crenna's in a lot of TV movies. Isn't that one where he gets raped by a woman?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like a big groundbreaking movie where guys are like, this can happen. Yeah. But he's really good in this, and that's the thing is like there's good acting in this in spite of how ridiculous it is. Also, Becca, before she fell asleep, raised the question to me: whose guidance counselor ever came to their house? Like white kids got it real simple, I guess, in the 70s. They're like, your teacher will come to your house to tell your kids their problems.
Well, it was so urgent. It
Yeah.
was something that this guy was genuinely concerned
A
about.
watch got stolen, Bill. A watch.
Well, it was more than that.
Yeah.
He saw it. He
Yeah.
knew, and that's why he had to die. And besides, they said he was a friend of the family. It wasn't like he was only their guidance
He had to
counselor.
die, but not before Yvette Mimieux showed up in his bed. And she was like, do you think maybe we could talk about that watch? And he's like, but your husband. And she's like, he knows I'm here. And you should lay off my son.
That didn't actually happen on screen, though.
It's hinted, very hinted, that because he even said when he's dead, he's like, aren't you upset about your lover? And she's just like,
Well, because that's what she said. She said that she went over and
I believe it would happen. I think that's what
it could have.
Yeah.
But he already was suspicious of
Yeah.
everything that was going on there. So I find it hard to believe that he would actually fall for it.
Yeah. Well, he woke up alone in bed, and that dog showed up. My dog fan fiction is even worse. I think what happened when the dog possessed her is I got yelled at by Becca about that. So anyway. Anyway. Yeah, I really like this movie. It's kind of they probably live in the next suburban home development next to Poltergeist. They're just like a couple developments over, And man, the inside of their house, Bill, you said it best. Like it feels like a set, because it is. And there's wallpaper everywhere, even on the ceiling, and more plants. They had so many fucking plants that she took 2 plants on vacation. Who takes 2 plants on vacation?
The heating and the cooling bill in that house would be through the roof. You would have to be super rich to live there.
I know, and it's like there's different carpeting in every room. Some of that carpeting is not the kind you can vacuum either. Like, how do you keep that carpeting clean?
And you have a dog.
You don't just have a dog. You have a dog that has blood on his paws. That dog left blood all over that wall. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more about the hair in that carpet because, the devil dog sheds like crazy.
Yeah. He looks a lot more like Cubby when he's in devil form. Like in his regular form, he's fine. Becca's point of view in this movie was she was like, that dog can do whatever he wants. He's a baby. And like, so whenever like Richard Crenna was about to put his head in a lawnmower, she was like, good for him. Good for him. That dog didn't do anything wrong.
So the devil dog had a fabulous outfit when he was turning into the devil.
He did. He was very stylish. Man, that devil at the end looks like almost like an alien of sorts. That like portal into hell. That was pretty rad. I really like that. It wasn't like your typical old scratch looking demon. It looked like something like really foreboding, and I like that. And the pre-CGI flames just dropped in over everything.
It was okay. You know, it was imaginative, and
That's what I
it
liked about it. It was good. I
it
was
communicated what they were trying to get at. I didn't think it looked too cheesy.
yeah. I That's what I think. I think this movie for its TV origins and there's a we've talked about before. There's a fine line between regional or low budget horror and TV horror, right? They're often the same budgets, and TV movies maybe have a little more ridiculous of a you know budget. But yeah, I got to tell you that house coat, Dustin, amazing. That little Ric Flair looking robe that she had on at one point before she jumped in the pool. And she smoked long cigarettes. She had Virginia Slims too. Just smoking in the house. Didn't care.
Oh, she
Giant
took
lighter.
just a couple of puffs off of it and then crushed it out with her foot.
That's how
So
you know they're rich.
wasteful.
They're rich. Like I got more cigarettes in the bin of cigarettes that she pulls out. Also, it was like 1 in the afternoon, and she's like, "I'm just gonna make a drink." A dream life.
Yeah,
What a
how about
magic.
you? You
Yeah,
want a drink too?
yeah, yeah. When he's like, "I don't need a drink," I yelled, and Bill can verify this. I would take a drink right now. At like 2 in the afternoon, she's making fun of the people she used to do therapy for, and she's just like straight up pouring no ice at all, just like straight whiskey.
It was all the devil dog's
Oh,
fault. The devil makes you drink.
this is what the devil does.
Never forget that. Remember the Chick Tract happy hour?
Oh, yes, I do.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Good news for Jack Chick fans. I have the Sissy, the Jack Chick track, the animated version on the site tomorrow, Bill.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a CGI version of it. It's not good. But yeah, it's on there. Yeah, I remember Happy Hour. Dark Dungeons is my favorite. The Beast is the best one, but Dark Dungeons is real good too.
Happy hour had a little girl
Yeah.
and her brother, and their dad was drinking. And I think the mother was dead or she died during the course of the story.
Yeah.
And she ended up like breaking the father's booze bottles. And it went down the sink, and I was like, "Oh my god, that guy's gonna beat her ass."
Oh,
And of course, at the end, Jesus, and everything's okay again.
I really wish all the Chick tracks had been turned into short movies like the Sissy, and I think that's the kind of project.
Sissy.
Yeah, that's the kind of project that I want to put out there, and just get great filmmakers to just make. I want like Gaspar Noé to make a Happy Hour, or Lars von Trier to make one.
I wish I had the one that was the gay one. And there's one called Sin Town, which is not the one I'm talking about. There was another one that actually had this gay protagonist, and
Yeah.
there was like a little devil with animal legs sitting on his shoulder saying, "You're really a woman trapped in a man's body." And I was like, do they even know what they're talking about? With do they have they met any gay people?
No.
And it was kind of it was very lurid and dramatic, of course. And then one of the panels had him walking. He's like, "What am I gonna do? No one wants an old queen." And I was like, "Oh my god, what's happening?"
They it's weird too. Like there's different art styles within them, and I can't remember the artist that does the really realistic one. He did the Sissy, the original version,
Yeah,
and his are look gorgeous. Like his artwork is great.
the sissy was the one with the trucker, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Okay, yeah, that I
and it
remember
has
that.
some really dramatic scenes of the crucifixion and stuff in it. And then
Yes.
there's the super like cartoony Jack Chick ones that are almost like scratched out looking. You know what I mean? They're very like ultra cartoony. And it's just interesting, like what stories get what artist. Dark Dungeons also has the really realistic art style, and that has like the whole coven like talking about how they're going to kill her character in Dungeons and Dragons, and if her character dies, she'll die too.
Why would you kill people that are willing to play Dungeons and Dragons with you?
What's funny is if you read that story, like all these people are super attractive playing Dungeons and Dragons. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons with an attractive person. I'm counting me in this case. I've never. It's a solid 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah, it's not good. Um, Anytime I bring up Dungeons and Dragons to Becca, she'll ask me like, well, "What's it like?" And I'll tell her a little bit of it, and she just gets upset. She said, "Don't tell me anymore. This is horrible."
You know, Devil Dog Hound of Hell was broadcast on Halloween night, 1978, which is something we forgot to mention in
Yeah.
the second segment when we were setting it up. And that is really amazing because, of course, that was around the time that Halloween debuted theatrically.
Hmm.
So you could go see John Carpenter's in some cities. Not every city got it in 78 or on Halloween in 78, but you some places you could go see that at in the theater or stay home and watch Devil Dog on TV.
I think if I'd seen Devil Dog as a kid, I would have been really afraid of it because I was super afraid of dogs when I was a kid. So I got attacked by a dog when I was real little, by a German Shepherd. And so,
Ooh,
yeah, I was flying a kite and running across someone's yard, not paying attention, and their dog came running and tackled me. And I was, really young, like 4 or 5, and it was very scarring.
did it bite you?
It got in my face and almost did. Yeah, it got pulled off before it bit me. But it like pinned me to the ground.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah,
It was a devil dog, Sam.
it was.
Don't you realize this now?
Yes. Matt, I'm not making fun. When I make fun of D&D, by the way, I'm making fun of my own. Um, but there are attractive people that play D&D. What's his name? The guy that's Aquaman. The dude, he played D&D. What's his name? From Pitch Black. He wrote the forward for the last rule set. So I get it. Like there are attractive people that play it, but I'm just going with it. I grew up in Elwood City. There weren't people beating down the door. It's not like Stranger Things where there were like attractive people wanting to play D&D with us.
Yeah, as usual, when a phenomenon is depicted in a TV or in a media or
Yeah,
story entertainment later, they never get it quite right.
that's again to bring up Trick or Treat again. That's why I love it because Ragman, played by Skippy in that movie, looks like every metalhead in my high school, like me, big doughy dudes that are afraid of everybody and get beat up by jocks all the time. That movie is ultra way too realistic.
I realized when I made that comment earlier about how you need to find a group of heavy metaloid kids who wanted to do a ritual. I was talking about you.
Yeah, you were talking about me again. I was like, yes, I am ready to do this ritual with you.
But you admitted that was the whole reason you were there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was looking to get in trouble as a kid, but all I did was sit in my room and play guitar, um, and watch horror movies and draw. That's all I ever really did. Pretty much what I do now. My life has not changed, except now I own a house instead of live in my parents' house. Not much has changed, and I have a wife. I guess so some has changed.
You're still in your basement.
Still in a basement, still surrounded by pictures of Leatherface. But yeah, I really like this movie. I'm glad I like it even more the second time I watched it. Like I really, it's got some fun '70s occultish kind of things. It's really strange. I saw Vince's. Vince, you made Billy Jack your bullies. I became a pro wrestler, so I kind of did the same thing. But uh, the thing that I like about this movie is like this is from almost the end of when really like occulty kind of stuff could be on TV, and we're like 4 years away from the Satanic Panic. You know what I mean? Like this stuff was on TV, nobody had a problem with it. A couple of years from now, PMRC happens, and you know what I mean? Like all this, everything starts getting judged. It's a really weird shift that society made that we've never escaped from because there's not much difference between QAnon and Satanic Panic stuff. They're the same conspiracies filtered through different lenses. So, it's Pizzagate, all that stuff. It's all Satanic Panic. It just never really went away. It just changed.
True. That's like that's what we get now.
Yeah. I know. Well, there was a core team, they called them, in my high school, and they would find kids that were in danger of drugs, alcohol, and Satanism. Guess who got called in?
Satanism.
My aunt was in charge of it. Guess who got called in? Me.
Uh,
And because I was drawing a picture of Leatherface, and they said, "What is this?" And it was Leatherface hanging a body up, and I said, "Oh, well, it's from Texas Chainsaw Massacre." And It's a really important film, and I went into Sam mode about how important normal human beings, especially in the mid '80s, didn't recognize Toby Hooper. So they went through all these stuff, and they had this whole book about. They had like an occult expert that used to come in. Every police precinct had an occult expert that would come in and speak to them.
Right.
And
Where they found these people, I don't even know.
it's the greatest scam ever. And then they're like, "Well,
I bet they had the same last names as some of the people that were calling them in and hiring them to do these jobs."
it was Hans Holzer, the guy who wrote the Amityville. Speaking of Bill, I'm super excited. I have to break this news. People may already know. You know how much I love a Tubi original movie, right?
Right.
Next month, there's a Tubi remake of Amityville: The Curse, the Canadian directed video one that Hans Holzer wrote. They're making a remake just for Tubi. So my loves have come together. It's like perfect.
Wow, we're so far along that we're now getting remakes of distant Amityville sequels.
I'm 100%. I can't think of a movie. People are like, I'm so excited about all the stuff that happened at the Star Wars thing in England today. And I'm like, yeah, but did you hear that they're remaking Amityville: The Curse? And they're like, I don't even know that one. And I'm like, sorry about your luck, because that movie's awesome. If they make Amityville, it's about time. It's all over for me. Like I'll lose my mind. Like I'm so excited about this. So
I want to see a remake of Amityville 3,
I gotta watch
also
that
in
one again.
3D.
That's one of the ones for some reason I don't like it as much, and I know you love it.
Oh, it's one of my faves.
It's two is number one in my world. Two's the
Oh, you know I love 2
two is
also.
so good. It's so good, man. But I'm gonna go back and watch three. I think there's something in it for me. I think I had watched it the right after two, and I was like amped up beyond belief on the sheer lunacy of two, right? And
Yeah.
another Andrew Prine movie. We forgot. How could I forget?
Well, 2 has a very dark and dirty atmosphere to it.
It's so
And
good.
3 is just goofy.
Yeah,
It has like a goofy sort of thing, but it does get the poor Candy Clark. Poor Candy Clark. Every horror movie she's in, her character suffers some sort of horrible death scene. Her death scene in Amityville 3D is genuinely disturbing,
yeah.
especially
Hey,
since she's so likable and everything.
Patty Duke's in four, and there's a lamp, an evil. I was waiting
you
until you
know,
drank that before I mentioned the lamp.
you know how many Thrill Kill cult samples there are in Amityville 3.
Oh yeah,
Many of them are Candy Clark. I know what I experienced, and I'm not crazy. I don't
I
want another one of
really,
your rational explanations.
I really like the Canadian ones, like The Curse, It's About Time, and Amityville: The New Generation. I really
I
like.
really haven't seen very many of those. You're the expert on the Amityville
I'm
stuff.
an expert. Those ones are good. I have them, the Blu-rays. You may be borrowing them at some point, and I say you should watch these. Maybe I'll just do an Amityville pool party where everybody has to come over and watch Amityville movies with me. I'll get like three people to come. It'll be like you and me sitting there watching Amityville movies. That's fine. Man.
I'll come to your Amityville pool party.
Yeah, there's what at some point I release bees and and flies.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not coming if there are going to be bees.
It's gonna be like interactive. I'll do like an interactive cinema of Amityville. So, for God's sake, get out of the house. They can make honestly as soon as an Amityville movie comes on, I have a pact with some kind of demon where it's like as soon as it comes on, like I gotta watch it, and no matter what. So the Tubi one is beyond exciting to me.
Matt wants something deeper than a jump scare.
Mm,
Can you think of anything
not recently.
recently?
Not recently.
Um, I felt that way about Us,
Yeah, I like Us a
that
lot.
Jordan Peele film.
Yeah,
I really felt that way about Us because it freaked me out. And, I thought that a lot of the horror stuff that was in it was kind of contrived, but this whole concept that he had in that film was really very haunting and disturbing.
yeah.
And it reminded me a lot also of course, Malatesta's Carnival of Blood, which had a similar kind of underground horror aspect to it. So Us would be my vote.
I can't think of any modern ones that. You know what movie I really like, but it is full of jump scares. I really like this Sinister a lot. Have you seen that?
I get it mixed up. Sinister is the one with the evil little kid ghost in it.
Yeah, but in their movies of kids killing their parents, and like there's all these like Super Eights of patricide. There's those parts alone are really scary. And Charlie Clouser from who used to be in Nine Inch Nails did some really cool music for it. The second one's pretty good too.
Charlie Clouser is an actor in it.
No, he did the music for it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's good though. I dug it. And there's a couple of scenes in Sinister of the films that people made of the families getting killed, especially the Christmas part, that are really good. I really dug it. So I like that movie. I can't think of too much other modern stuff that I've liked, but I'm usually harder on that stuff than you know. You know what movie I did see this week, Bill? I'd like to bring to everybody's attention because it comes out on Blu-ray this week. And this first, before I tell you this, if you're upset by animals at all, you won't want to watch this movie. But Calamity of Snakes, which is a Taiwanese Hong Kong Category 3 movie. I was telling Bill about it before. Holy shit! I always wonder. I'm like, can a movie shock me and upset me? Because I've seen, we've all seen a lot, right? The eyes have seen so much, as Fulci probably said.
That's why they must be destroyed.
They must be destroyed. Holy shit! This movie. If you love snakes, you don't want to watch it because so many snakes get killed, and not in a. I mean, this movie is literally like laughs at you. Can't like you killed one turtle, Cannibal Holocaust. Like fuck you, we can do 30,000 snakes. But also, this movie, if you hate snakes, you're gonna hate it too because there are 30,000 snakes in this movie. There's a scene, Bill, like literally shot for shot, The Shining, where the elevator doors open up and 1,000 snakes fly out of it at the camera.
Wow.
A lot of scenes of people just getting snakes thrown at them. A mahjong game turns into a massacre while snakes crawl over the table. There's a karate fight between a giant boa constrictor and a snake master kung fu guy. All the music from Dawn of the Dead and Maniac are in it. A lot of Alan Parsons Project. A lot of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's a really weird movie. There's 3 cuts on the disc that Unearthed put out. There's a cruelty-free version. There's a theatrical version. And then there's the just don't watch this version. I guess that's the one I watched. In the beginning of it, they're opening this grand hotel or this high rise.
Don't watch this version.
Yeah, it's like the version with everything in it. They're opening a high rise and it's like super fancy, and it turns out there's a bunch of snakes in it. So they say take all the snakes out and kill them. So they literally get like giant earth movers and just destroy snakes, dump them into this giant pit, cut all their heads off. And of course, the snake gods are upset by this and send thousands of snakes into this building. The end of the movie is literally the whole building on fire with flaming snakes attacking people. It's really something. I'm not saying it's not for the. I don't want to be. I'm not edgelord saying this. It's just like it's fucking disturbing. But I'm glad I watched it. Like it's an interesting movie, but man, it's something else. But yeah, Unearthed just put it out on Blu-ray, and you might want to see it. You might not, but yeah, it's really weird when all the Dawn of the Dead music comes in. I'm like, I've heard this before. This library cue. But anyway, that's what I saw. That's from '83, so that doesn't count as a modern one. Also, what the fuck's wrong with people making this movie? Like, it's got a lot of those kind of moments. There's a mongoose fighting a snake that the camera doesn't look away. It's almost like a Mondo in a way, more than even a horror movie. It really eats you up. So there you go. I guess, is that a recommendation? Probably not. But
That's a tagline.
It's a tagline. Yeah, it's like I would say watch it, honestly, but maybe, it just depends how you feel about when you hear Category 3 Hong Kong movie, you know what you're getting into. You're getting into disturbing stuff. Yeah, you know what, Frank? I agree. The dog's in the second movie. He's got really good acting. The dog in the second movie does a lot of stuff. Um, he's really good, and Becca loved him. So again, he was killing people left and right. She's like, Lucky's great. Lucky's a wonderful dog. So yeah, when I come home and she's wearing that little poofy nightgown holding Tubby, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have
She
to get
gonna
her
take
ugly
you
look.
skinny dipping in your neighbor's pool?
But we got our own pool, so she'll just use ours.
That doesn't matter. You have to do it in the neighbor's pool. That was part of it.
Yeah, is that the ritual?
She was kinky.
She was. She was in the time machine too. She was the girl in the future that he rescues.
I don't know. Like I don't think I'd be mad if I looked out and my neighbors were skinny dipping in my pool.
I don't think I would be. I talked to him about it the next day, but
Yeah, like I saw you naked in my pool last night.
yeah. My neighbor's in shit with everybody right now because he must have 40 bags of garbage out like a week before garbage is due. And like I saw a neighbor literally walk up and just start screaming at him today. So I just stay out of it.
Yeah, that can get ugly really quickly.
You have to live next to people. That's the hard part. What's going on at the Del Rey Twin?
I pulled up some good multi-feature ads while we were talking to look at. These are just random polls from some
24-hour nightmare.
Yeah. It's only 24 hours. I'm not afraid. Prophecy also. What a combo. That's very of the era. And Silent Scream and Ruby. Holy shit.
That's a good double feature for you right there.
Mm-hmm. You could call that the movies that don't do what you think they're going to do double feature.
Yeah.
Not what they promised you double feature.
I like that though.
The Cane Road Drive-In Theater.
The Cane Road. It's gone now though. I literally just went past it about 3 months ago. Or no, 2 months ago. And it's sadly gone. And it's on the Hopewell exit of 376 going away from the airport. But man, Frightmare. But which Frightmare is that? I would assume it's the Norman Thaddeus Vane nightmare.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
With cat people.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to you for putting the Black Room ad up. I was super excited that people were talking about the Black Room.
I know. That was great. That has to be one of the commentaries we do in the future. One of our Groovy Doom commentaries.
Definitely. I love that movie. Oh, Super 51. Well, speaking of Richard Crenna, Death Ship.
Yeah. I picked this out for some Crenna.
Yeah.
Some further viewing recommendations for Richard Crenna fans, Death Ship.
The Super 51 logo makes me so happy with like the Native American headdress, like with the type on it. And can you take it? I like that challenge. I think Funeral Home you can probably take. Death Ship's got some good jump scares in.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest double feature to take.
Yeah.
Even
this ain't Cannibal Holocaust and
right.
Calamity of Snakes. This is
Calamity of Snakes.
This is Funeral Home and Death Ship and Solo and Death Ship.
What are they talking about? Go modern, go best at Super 51.
I think that they had what do you call it? I renovated it so it looked a little nicer than some of the other area drive-ins, which rarely got fixed up. So could be why. God. Here's what blows my mind, Bill, about this second one. My eyes went right to the Spotlight 88. Literally, the Spotlight 88 is 3 miles from my parents' house. To know that an Andy Milligan movie played, right? Like, right there, like right where I grew up, a place that I went past all the time. Like, and I know they're still very culty in genre films, but it's like right there, and that's amazing. And the house that screamed and Swinging Pussycats together.
Well, where was that drive-in was in Beaver,
Yeah, Spotlight
Bloomington.
88 is it's in. It's hard to describe. Like it's literally behind between Beaver Falls and New Brighton, but it's in back. It's like back there. One of the bars there is where some of Night of the Living Dead was shot too. Some of the outside scenes were shot around there too.
So, did you know the Tusca drive-in though?
I don't know the Tusca one. I think is further down in Beaver. That had closed. I think by the time like that's closer to downtown Beaver. That one had closed before I started going to drive-ins. We usually went to Spotlight 88 because honestly, that's how close it was. 10 minutes from the house, and Super 51 was 10
Yeah.
minutes away too.
Did you ever go there and you didn't care what was showing? Did your
Yeah,
family
my
do that?
parents just took us to whatever. Like I know, like I talked about the one I went to was Super Fuzz and I can't remember what else was Super Fuzz. Like I know I definitely saw that. I saw the best one ever is Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Crash. But yeah, my parents would just take us to almost anything. I know I saw King Kong there. I saw the Rescuers there. Like it was just kind of like a mix of whatever was playing. They would take us, and it was a big deal because they would pack stuff. We'd have a whole cooler, and like we went. I'd say in the summer we went at least every other week. We went really quite often.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes you could be lured out to the drive-in no matter what was showing. Like sometimes
yeah.
people would just want to go out to the drive-in and then take a chance. There were a
I
lot
do
of movies that
remember.
I saw that way as a kid, and I wish I could remember what they were because
Yeah, I wish I could get a lineup of everything that played Spotlight 88 so I could see and like base it on like because I know single movies I saw, but I can't remember all the you know ones that were there.
so this is interesting. Hollywood
Yeah,
Hillside Strangler, which is of course Hollywood 90158. I
yeah,
don't remember the name, the number rather. And Horror Hospital, which is actually the computer killers, also
yeah,
screened selectively as Death Ward number 13. And
yeah.
my favorite of the alternate titles, Eastworld.
Ooh, I like that one a lot.
Uh-huh. You get it?
Yeah,
There's
Westworld.
Westworld, then there's Eastworld. So it's
Yeah,
practically the same film.
yeah, it's close. Computer Killers is a great title though.
Yeah, that one you don't know what the hell you're really going to see when you go see a movie called Computer Killers. Look at
Oh,
that one.
oh man, Paul Nashi.
You know what movie that is?
That is. Is it Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll?
No, there's a beheading in it, a severed head that talks.
Uh-uh.
Horror rises from the tomb.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That would what Tom by. Okay.
Of course, the Spanish language version playing at a Spanish speaking drive in.
Yeah,
So
I
that's pretty
love that.
exciting.
I would love to go to there.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my god, what a night at the Super 51. The House of Exorcism. I'm gonna go past there tomorrow, and I'm gonna just be so sad when I go past. It's a Dollar General now. I'm just
Oh,
gonna be
bummer.
yeah. It's a racetrack on one side and a Dollar General in the same area. There was also the ABC in Rochester, between Rochester and Aliquippa, but they closed around the same time too. Spotlight 88, honestly, I don't think would have closed if it wasn't for the tornado that went through. They still have a flea market that's super active that runs there, but yeah, there was a death there, and the whole movie, like the person working the booth died when the tornado went through it, and then
Bummer.
Everything got destroyed through that area. But yes, Spotlight 88 still had a lot of people going there. It wasn't like um, struggling or anything.
What year
Then
was
I thought
that?
I think it was 88 or 89 that happened. But Kane Road was open until, man, well after I was out of college. Kane Road was open until like 97 or 98, maybe later. But
The House of Exorcism really amazes me because that's a case of that movie was showing on TV at that
yeah,
point. In fact, I think I saw it in 1976 for the first time as Lisa and the Devil on
yeah,
TV. And then you could go see this theatrical film that was almost that movie, most of that movie, with new stuff cut into it.
and
Very
Devil's
weird.
Nightmare wasn't it? What year did this run? Do you know what year this?
This was from 76.
Yeah, what year did Devil's Nightmare came out in 72?
Yeah. 71,
Yeah,
I think, is when it
yeah,
played in Europe.
yeah. Man, that's crazy that came out. Erica Blanc is really gorgeous in that movie too.
Devil's
I,
Nightmare was one of the most familiar films of the 1970s. It was screened constantly as a
yeah,
second and third feature. I mean, that has to be one of the movies that people saw the most. And if you stuck around for those, and there were
yeah,
people that did. So, you saw that frequently if you went regularly to drive-ins. And then
yeah,
MPM put it out again as like Vampire Playgirls or something
yeah.
in 1981. So you got suckered into going to see it for the umpteenth time.
I would be happy. I'm like, yeah, I can do this one again.
Yeah, I would be too. Who would complain about seeing The Devil's Nightmare again?
That's a great double feature. I really like both those together.
Oh, we're back to. Oh,
Yeah, I
what
have some good
monster
stuff
could.
coming up on the site this week for you, Bill. The theme weeks this week.
And what is
Yeah,
it?
the themes are tomorrow is tomorrow you might not enjoy as much. Tomorrow's all weird religious movies, and then Monday is movies that came out of the book Nightmare USA. So Arnold, Attack of the Beast Creatures, Crazed, which we watched on the show, of course, and The Strange Vengeance of Rosalie.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that movie. It has a lot of alt titles as well. The 11th is upsetting movies. The 12th is movies made in Pittsburgh. Uh, the 13th is movies with a pro wrestler in them. 14th, Shaw Brothers, and the 15th are movies that Crown International put out. So excited for that day. Today, if you went to the site, was all movies that Film Ventures International put out. So including, man, we didn't talk. I don't know if we talked about it last week. One Film Ventures movie, Extraterrestrials, the Jean Pierre Simon movie, ET 2, Severance putting out like a really great version. So I'm super excited about that, as well as Alien from the Abyss, aka Alien from the Deep, which I really like that too. Um, yeah, so I'm excited. I actually, when you and I first talked, I'm like, I don't know if I liked Arnold. I watched it again, and I kind of like it. It's got something to it, something strange. But I watched Crazed again, and man, I really like that movie a lot. I have a
Oh
lot to say about
God.
Crazed.
So
Yeah,
haunting.
you know what's funny about it? Not to spoil what I wrote, but it's like the his voyeurism. The only time it would come in handy, he's called away and she dies. Spoiler if you didn't watch it with us. And it's like his bad behavior could have been for the cause of good, but he wasn't there for it. And do you know what I mean? It's wild. Like
Yeah, it's like the tragedy of his life.
yeah,
His life has been full of tragedy and people abusing him and abandoning him, and then this happens, and it was
yeah.
finally like the thing that just pushed him over the edge.
And it's weird because like both of the characters are incredibly damaged people. Like her boyfriend that she's leaving him she can't even face him, and she's like staring at an animal while she's telling him she's leaving, and then he's like, "What happens if you die?" And she's like, "Then I'll croak. It's fine. I'll just die." And it's like in another movie, these two damaged characters could maybe find each other and fix each other, but they're both too fucked up, right? And like,
Yeah.
and it's shocking that like her, it's different than I know there's a lot of Psycho in that movie, but it's so different than Psycho because her death is senseless and just happens. Like it's just a whim of fate.
Sure,
And
he doesn't kill her.
no, that's what I mean. And it's like, and then, but then him keeping her, is it worse than? It's funny because like in the same way that like sexually everybody has destroyed him in his life. Like he's had horrible experiences with it. She really hasn't had great experiences with it either. It's I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness to it, but I really like that movie. And I've read some reviews of people like, yeah, it's really slow and it's kind of boring. And I'm like, but is it? Like, I think it's really good. And it's again another movie that isn't out on Blu-ray. Isn't like there's not like a great release of it with people
Yeah.
talking about it, and
No
it
special
totally
edition.
deserves it. Yeah, but I've had a lot of fun this month. I've really been trying to go deeper into these movies, and then the week after will be Euro Spy, movies made in 1999, car movies. I actually made friends with a site that is a whole NASCAR team that puts a movie up every week, and they've been sharing my movies. They're going to review 2 car movies from the perspective of actual NASCAR drivers, which is pretty cool. The 19th is movies that played the Wild Wednesdays at the AGFA, at Alma Draft House. Movies that the Medveds hated will be on the 20th, which fuck the Medveds. I like
Yeah.
those movies.
But that could be
The
a great list because you're gonna like everything on it.
except Dondi. I finally watched Dondi, and gee, mini Christmas that movie. It's rough.
Did
The
you just say
21st.
Jiminy Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. The 21st is movies with adult stars doing mainstream roles, and the 22nd is movies that TerrorVision has released this year. So I'm pretty excited. And then there will be a week of regional movies, Bill. So Behind Locked Doors, Scalpel, Dogs of Hell, aka Rottweiler, and Skinned Alive so far are the ones I'm watching there.
Skinned Alive.
I really liked Skinned Alive. Man, that movie is something else.
Reminds me of Martyrs.
Yeah, it does. No, this is a different Skinned Alive. This is the one. It's like a family of killers. It's pretty good. And then there'll be a day of Alan Smithy movies where people didn't want to admit that they made the movie. So that'll be interesting too. Yeah, the Golden Turkey Awards book. I read them when I was a kid, and they were really funny when I was a kid. And then as I got older, I started looking through them, and I'm like, I really these don't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like some of these movies I really like, and not just Ed Wood, but like it's just weird the stuff that they pick. Like, I mean, everybody has different tastes, but like they really went in on like Sam Peckinpah movies. And then when I go back and watch them, I'm like, I really like those movies. Like Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, I really like. And they hated it. I have a whole list of movies that are in their book, Bill. Like, well, okay, look, I realize the airport movies are bad, but I like them. Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, I don't think that's a bad movie.
That's not a bad movie.
No. And like all the Planet of the Apes movies, the later ones like Battle are in there, but where are the blobs in there? No. Beyond the Doors in there. Come on. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, Billy Jack, Blood Feast, Bloody Mama, uh, Burnt Offerings. Love that movie. The Car. Now I'm fucking triggered at this point.
Yeah, the
right?
car is going too far.
Yeah. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Oh,
Right?
do not
The
say
Omen
that
2,
about children shouldn't play with dead things. Thank you.
Death Race 2000, Destroy All Monsters.
I saw somebody called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things overrated online recently.
Don't Look in the Basement is on the Medved's list of worst movies, Bill.
Oh, wow. I remember there was a synopsis of it in Leonard Maltin's film guide, but I would love to read what the Medved said about Don't Look in the
Yeah,
Basement.
Frogs is on the list too, Bill.
Of course.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Hedorah. Come on, people. Man, the green slime. I'll maybe give you that. Grizzly, I don't agree with. Uh, the Incredible Melting Man. I can see why they didn't like it, but come on, it's alive,
Well, if they didn't like Beyond the Door, they're not going to like The Incredible Melting Man.
right? Last House on the Left. I'm sure that Lipstick, which I love, Lipstick. Come on, guys.
Lipstick. That's a fucking classic.
Yeah, Looking for Mr. Goodbar. This list. Oh my god. What do you call it? Some of these are really Myron Breckfast. Night of the Living Dead's in their list of turkeys. Like, I don't understand. Pink Flamingos was in it. I'm sure they're like very moralistic. Piranha is in it. It's just, I don't know.
Pink Flamingos. Who would call that a turkey? Like, I think you're missing the point if you would call.
I think a lot of it is just like, how dare people make this movie?
Pink Flamingos isn't asking to be taken seriously. It doesn't want you to think that it's an amazing film.
Yeah, it's just funny to me that it's in there. But when I first read them as a kid, I'm like, oh, these are really funny that they did these books. Like, oh, Zabriskie Point sounds stupid. I'm like, no, it's pretty good actually.
What about the dog from Rear Window? What am I not remembering?
Me either.
I don't really remember a dog from Rear Window. Of course, it's been like probably 20 years since I've seen Rear Window.
Yeah. The actress that's in Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, though, Bill, I watched the only movie she directed this week, the Lord of the Lovers of the Dark. Man, that movie is really good. It's like a Mexican folk horror about a girl that wants to get married to a guy. Her parents send him away to America, so she can't marry him. So she meets a witch to help her, and of course, the witch needs blood, and the deal with the devil is never straight, and people start dying. It's real good. Really like it.
The Dog Digging in the Flowers.
I'm gonna have to watch Rear Window again now. Not the Christopher Reeve version, but the other one.
That one was really, yeah. That made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're like, well, I guess you can play wheelchair roles now. And he was like, thanks.
So we talked about the dog from Rear Window before the lava squid showed up.
Oh, is that the lava? I didn't know what the lava squid was. That's the lava squid?
Yeah. That's when we're about to sign off and that lightning bolt comes out.
Oh, all right.
Because the show has very high production values. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching the show this week, commenting, being part of it. I stuck through it. My power didn't die. I didn't have any problems health-wise. Everything worked out. It's been a great weekend. Jen was awesome on the show. We got to watch 2 great dog movies. This is fun. So thanks a lot, guys. And what's next week, Bill? Next week,
it's a late movie. So next Saturday night, we'll be on at 11 p.m. We're watching Curse of the Living Corpse with Patrick Walsh from Scream Queens. He'll be on with us. And Patrick seems to be obsessed with Curse of the Living Corpse lately.
Ooh.
So I'm sure he'll have lots to say.
I'm interested to hear what he has to say about it.
It was on the last episode of Scream Queens.
Oh, was it? Cool. I'll go listen to that before we do it. So, man, that's good. I am going to find another movie to watch and write about a bunch of stuff. The Zeta, what's that one? The Eurospy movie I'm watching. The Love Factor I'm watching right now. It's something else. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Eurospy stuff, not Bond stuff, even the lower dregs bit, and they're really interesting. But good night, everybody.
We hope you have a nice Easter tomorrow, and we hope you'll come back with us next weekend on Saturday night at 11 p.m. for Curse of the Living Corpse. Till then, be safe. out with such fantastic films. Good night.
Nice. Thanks, Bill.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.